Is the audio good?
Phenomenal.
All right, then we have nothing to worry about.
All right.
So when you hit the G?
When I hit that J.
Welcome back. This is episode 129 of the NYYST podcast, presented to you by baseballism.com. I am your host, Christian, as always, joined by my co-host, Chris.
You.
And sleepy guy, Rye.
Dude was up all night, stayed over 24 hours straight, working on videos for us. Dedication.
I thought I was going to be done by like 4 a.m. Like I had it all timed out. I'm like, I should be done by 4:30. I didn't finish.
He texted me.
I just get like OCD
He
with
texted
this
me
stuff.
at 9 in the morning. First of all, my cousin's kids stayed over. So I went downstairs. We were up here in the studio working on stuff. I went downstairs at 4:30 in the morning. I was up by 4:50.
Sounds like fun.
It was awful. I didn't sleep either, but I did get a little nap in. And then he texts me at 9:30 and he's like, dude, the whole video was messed up. Had to start it over. I'm like,
well, you know what happened?
I was yelling at my kids downstairs for 2 hours going, guys, Uncle Ryan's sleeping. Keep it down. He was up here the
I
entire
looked up
time.
because I just started working on this yesterday. I looked up the roster for who was participating in Old Timers Day. And then this morning I looked it up again. And it was completely different. It was like 20
Maybe
more
you're
names.
on a different
I
year?
couldn't find any highlights of Jason Grimsley. I couldn't find any on.
You want to know why,
else.
Rye? Because there wasn't any.
I know. I looked him up. He played 2 years, 99, 2000. He was a reliever.
Do you think the Yankees have taken Old Timers Day to like the same level they do with the retiring the numbers now? Like it's a little too much. Like too many guys.
Honestly, I won't go anymore.
Why?
It's too much.
Like
yeah,
it's
I've never
too
been a
over.
huge fan.
I gotta say, the Don Larson moment was one of my favorite moments of Old Timers Day ever, though.
Because now, I mean, who do you really go to see? Like maybe this year would have been
Mo
cool
for
to
this
see
year.
Mo.
It's
And
just,
Paul.
but you know what? It would be cool if it was like 10 years after Mo retired.
But
Yeah.
Mo he's been fresh in the news. You're seeing a lot of him with the Hall of Fame
It's been 6
induction.
years.
You know, you want to see guys from the Tory years, but like O'Neal does games, Cone does games.
yeah,
even.
you see it's like,
Yeah, you're right.
it's almost like a high school reunion where you don't have to go anymore because you're on Facebook with all these people or any social media. So, like every time they shit and eat and whatever they do with their lives. So you see them at a reunion. It's not like back in the day where you hadn't heard from the person in 10 years.
The real legends like Yogi Berra, Don Larson passed away.
I just said the Don Larson moment today.
Oh, I didn't.
It was phenomenal.
I didn't watch Old
No,
Timers Day.
he's alive.
I just said the moment. With
I
him
apologize. I don't mean to put the guy in
He's
the grave.
close. He's close.
But I know
Don't be lost.
They definitely bought his
Sorry, that was
plot.
insensitive.
They haven't plotted out.
But
I haven't slept. You ever see the movie The Machinist?
I haven't
No.
slept in a year.
Yeah, Stevie, I haven't slept.
but he had stopped coming, didn't he, for a while?
Christian Bale, great.
I
movie.
think he had maybe had a couple years, but today he was in his wheelchair. Someone was rolling him out right at the first base coach's box. He has them stop, and he refused to be rolled onto the field. He got his walker
That's cool.
and walked out.
I heard next year they
Awesome.
might do a hologram team. Have
Oh, yeah,
all
Babe
the
Ruth.
classics.
But the real true old timers, they're all gone. So what are you going to do? You're going to go there to sit for 3 hours to watch Jason Grimsley, like you said?
So what
The
do you
problem-
think? Maybe they should take a hiatus for a couple years?
No, I think the
5
Yankees
years?
should keep the tradition alive, but maybe trim it down to people that are actually important.
Well, listen,
memorable.
From Reggie Jackson to the dynasty of the late 90s, early 2000s, how many guys can you really name there, compared to Gehrig's, Berra's, all them? Who can you name? Don Mattingly.
But he won't come. He can't
Guidry.
come. Was Guidry there?
Guidry was there a couple years after Reggie, if you even want to count that. Guidry was there today.
Was he there today?
How about 18
They're just-
strikeouts
there was-
that game? That's pretty sick.
They had shitty teams, and
Yeah,
they didn't
were
have
bad in the
many
80s.
stars.
There was
and
no one from the 80s there today.
So now all these dynasty guys like Rivera, Pettit wasn't there today. I
No,
thought
Pettit's actually doing something pretty cool. I heard him on the radio. He's part of some like coaching staff that is like preparing.
With his son?
No, not with his son. With other former major leaguers that are like prepping kids for like international play.
Oh, cool.
Like Team
Les
USA.
Berkman and Andy Pettit, they're doing it in Houston.
Oh.
The high school team in Houston. That's pretty awesome. Was Mike Stanton pitching today in the Old Timers?
Was Mike Stanton there?
I didn't see any of
I
old
missed the
timers.
beginning.
I thought he wore number 27, or am I just thinking of
29?
Giancarlo?
Talking about the pitcher?
Yes. Where did he coach in New Jersey? Don Bosco?
Yes. Don Bosco.
I think he still might coach there.
Anyway, then you got all these guys from the late 90s, early 2000s that are just rushed into all these things. These guys who a lot of them didn't retire until, 2013, 14, whatever. So it doesn't feel the same.
I mean, am I going to get out of my, leave my living room to go see Jason Giambi? No, no. The guys
still
that
cool though.
It is, but I don't know.
still
It's
a
kind of
moment.
watered down to
You know
me.
what it is? It's become more for the current players than anything else. Because I think it does a lot, even though they got their asses whooped today. I think it does a lot for the camaraderie of the clubhouse.
It
talking
is good
to
to
these
have
older
their
guys.
presence. A lot of players mention that is one of the best
Yeah,
parts.
you
of just
hear
being
almost
able to
every single
hear
one of them say it.
their stories.
I've done it. I don't care.
I've done it a handful of times.
I don't
I
really
went when I
care
was
to
a kid.
do it anymore.
I liked
wouldn't
it as
go
a
out of
kid.
my way to do it.
It is fun as a kid, though.
If in 10 years Derek Jeter doesn't own the Marlins anymore and he decides he wants to do it, that might be something
Yes.
you go to
I
do.
don't think he'll ever do it, even if he isn't an owner.
Well,
I think he's above that.
he's a punk ass then. Okay.
Yeah, I won't go out of my way to go. If someone got me tickets, obviously I'd be excited to go.
I don't know if I would even. It's such a long day. Like you're supposed to be in your seat at 11 o'clock. The game doesn't start. The real game doesn't start till 2. It's a long day, and it's
It's
just
hot
like
out there.
And then when they lose and the Astros put up 6 runs in the first 2 innings today. No, it was like the third or
once
fourth,
Altuve
whatever.
went deep, that was a bomb in the first inning. I fell right asleep for an hour.
well, you're not a real fan, Ryan. We all know that. So.
I am the biggest fan of the three of us, I'd say.
Okay.
London calling.
Go to London then. Prove me wrong and go to London.
Dude, I am going.
All right.
Talked to Ben Heller today, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Congratulated him. Wished him luck.
Yeah, Ben Heller. I don't know. This needs to be top of the news, but Ben Heller did begin his rehab assignment today.
It could end up being something that's top of the news because the Yankees could benefit from his electric fastball.
I mean, you got to think if he comes back and he's healthy and Betances say he doesn't come back, then I think Ben Heller will be the next reliever up. If
Could
they
be.
go middle reliever, if the next reliever that they decide to bring up isn't a long guy, then it's going to be Ben Heller, I think.
Yeah.
The
Who
Yankees.
are they going to do? Go Tarpley again? He's
well,
clearly-
Cortez is back up here.
Is Heller a
but
lefty too?
he's a righty.
Righty.
Well, since that's where we'll start here real quick. The Yankees bullpen does need help. You'd think it's kind of crazy to say that, but they kind of do need some help.
Just as far as taxing these arms.
The starting rotation doesn't go deep into games, and even Friday night, Paxton pitched well, but he only threw 5 innings.
Plus, right?
A broken starting rotation at that, where once every 5 days they're having bullpen games on top of all of it. It's not like you have, out of the 4 other guys, it's not like 2 of them at least give you 7, 6, 7 every time they go out.
Tanaka's been really good the last
He's
couple
been
of times
phenomenal.
through. Yesterday, he looked like he might have been on the short side there but he settled in and he gave him 6, which was really important because they needed to get as deep into that game yesterday as they could. Because as you saw, he was down Chapman and Canely, and that left him with Boone having to go with Jonathan Holder in that was the 7th inning.
Yes.
And these are one of these things that we field a lot of tweets about and angry complaints.
Yeah.
Is why is Jonathan Holder pitching high leverage innings? These guys can't pitch every single day.
Canely had just thrown 2 games in a row. Chapman was unavailable.
And that's why Thursday night, when the Yankees had to go to Chapman to close the door, that robs you from that takes away from Saturday night.
And I'm sorry, but wasn't Holder one of the most reliable guys we had for most of the year last year?
He was, but this is
So I'm not saying that has to translate into this year, but when he's not just some bum, he can still get important outs.
You
when
would
you need him
hope
to.
that he can get
You should
important
be able
outs.
to rely on him, is what I'm trying to say.
But
And-
here's the thing. For every complaint that we get for why is Holder pitching high leverage innings, we don't get one solution to it. Who's going to get the outs? You have 4 top-level relievers, right?
Right.
2 of them can't pitch. Who's going to get the outs? You want NYYST to pitch in the 7th inning?
Right. 'Cause
David Hale?
Do you see maybe
Who else is in that bullpen?
no one. That's the point. Green. That's everyone's argument is Green. But again, I just said it. We have a broken rotation, and Green has been very successful with what the Yankees have done.
And that
with
was
him.
interesting.
That he was even warming
He
up.
was because Britton threw a ton of pitches last night, and if he didn't get that last out, Green was coming into the game. Why didn't he throw Green in the 7th? And I think that right now the Yankees have found something with Chad Green that works,
right.
and I don't think they want to really deviate from that.
which you brought this up a lot last season that Boone couldn't find a role for Chad Green on this team, and it seems like he has found
Right.
a role now this
Yeah,
year.
you're right.
So why break away from that?
Say it all the time, but I wanted to say this too because I said it to you the other day. Most people, I would assume, look at this 8-game winning streak that they had, and they take it as a team that's hot and whatever, which you should. I mean, you shouldn't have to look deeper into
Did
it.
Tampa win today?
I think they were.
I know the Red Sox lost.
But anyway,
Yeah, that's another thing. Stupid AJ Przinsky last night on the broadcast said that the
Red
Yankees
Hot Red Sox.
need to watch out for a team that was 9 games behind them in the standings. Not
Tampa
to-
Bay won 8-2 today.
So the Yankees leading the AL East is down to 5 right now, but still, that's
Oh, big deal.
pretty.
Listen, here's something though that looking deeper into this 8-game winning streak, how much is Tanaka responsible for that with that complete game shutout? Think about what that did. Think about how many times during this 8-game winning streak we needed a fresh bullpen of big arms. When guys come out there and step up and have games like Tanaka did, it sets the the rest of the week up for you to really be, for at least for the next few games, 4 games, to be able to use high leverage guys. Tanaka did a big thing. It wasn't just a great game. He did a big thing for a bullpen who's completely overused.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I think they mentioned that during the 8-game winning streak, starters allowed 2 runs or less.
I know at one point their starting ERA was 1.56 or something. But look, how much of it is these starters can't go longer as opposed to our bullpen so deep that if you can get to them in the later innings, you get to them.
Yeah, but you've heard Boone talk about playing a long game here, and he doesn't want to be in the bullpen every day if he can avoid it.
Imagine if they had Betances right now.
Yeah, and that's what I
Imagine.
and that's why even though Ben Heller might not seem like a big name, if he can come back and provide competent innings, there's somebody that you can go to maybe once a week, so you don't have to throw Tommy Kahnle in the 7th inning or Adam Ottavino in the 6th inning.
If Heller can locate that fastball, it's a difficult pitch. If you brought Heller in, say in a situation where there maybe was a couple runners in scoring position, 2 outs, if he can locate that fastball, he's a tough guy to just see out of the bullpen.
And that's why I wouldn't be opposed to them if they really wanted to bring in another reliever in here, because they need to space these guys out a little.
Would
bit.
you be okay if they did that and didn't get a starting pitcher though? Don't
No.
you think starting pitcher
Yes.
has to be?
Yeah, I do, but
But you're saying as a compliment to also get a bullpen guy?
Well, look at what he did. Look at what Cashman did last year. The top
I know.
level reliever, the top starter wasn't out there, so he's 40. Even though they didn't really need Zach Britton last year, he still went out.
He did
and
it
got
2
him.
years in a row. Think about 2017. That's when he brought in Robertson and Kahnle.
They needed
and
Robertson and Kahnle, and
they did need them more,
in
obviously. But
2017.
I'm just saying that's been his move. When the starting pitcher's not out there, what's the next best thing?
Yeah,
but
and-
there is going to be a starting pitcher out there.
yeah, and I don't think he wants to overpay for starting pitching. So it could wind up being that they go and they just throw more arms in that bullpen.
Do you see them maybe converting Domingo Germán into the bullpen?
I mean, eventually they might have to with his innings limit, but right now they need him. He might come back after I heard that he might be slated to start one of the Mets games after they come back from London. So that's good that he's on the mend and coming back. They need him to take the ball every 5 days right now because they don't have enough starting pitching. They need to get away from this opener unless they want to replace J. Happ with the opener.
No, it's not going to happen.
Why?
Because
Happ has not been very good.
He hasn't been terrible.
No, but
Happ's biggest problem, and I
his ERA is over 5 now, right?
Is it really?
Yeah.
I think today was the most runs he's ever allowed in start.
Well, here, just to tie a bow on the bullpen here, there's accounts on Twitter
4.59
that
ERA.
Huh?
4.59.
Who?
4.59 for J. Happ.
That's not updated.
That's not updated from today.
Yeah,
is that Baseball Reference?
Yeah.
You got to go on
That's
it.
one. I love Baseball Reference, but they kill me. They kill me with the updates.
There's accounts out there that love to give you player A or player B, and you're supposed to pick whichever player is better. And they're trying to prove that analytics are more important than what you see with your own eyes.
Right.
Is that the advanced analytics will apparently tell you that Jonathan Holder is better than Adam Ottavino.
No.
That it's called predictive stats.
No.
That Holder's predictive stats are better than Ottavino's. That Holder has pitched to a lot of bad luck this year.
No.
Like, because hanging a breaking ball to Alvarez, is that his name, Alvarez? That's bad. That's just bad luck.
No.
And Adam Ottavino has pitched in a lot of really good luck this year.
Anyone who stat that Adam Ottavino hasn't allowed an inherited runner to score since like April 21st.
Yeah, well, that's the analytics for you, though.
J. Happ's
anyone
who
5.23.
5.23.
Anyone who truly goes to bed at night and goes, Jonathan Holder is better than Adam Ottavino should rethink.
Stop watching baseball. Just don't watch.
Should rethink their purpose on this earth. Because you clearly...
You can't show me any stat that Jonathan Holder's better than Adam Ottavino.
And he threw a really good breaking ball to Alvarez that didn't get called right before the home run. And I said...
These umpires are horrific.
But I didn't really have a problem with it. There's some calls that I have problems with. That was close. I didn't really have a problem with it. It could have went either way. Probably closer to a ball.
Ottavino had a call missed.
Yeah, he was pissed.
Yeah.
And he got him on the next pitch, though. Beautiful pitch.
And I said, don't throw the breaking ball again, because I said, I guarantee he hangs it.
And he did.
Because just waste the fastball there.
He should really change his last name to Jonathan Hanger.
Because
he's not
go away with. I knew it. I said he's going to hang that. If he throws it again, he's not going to throw as good of one. He should go and throw a fastball away right here. Try to dot the outside.
And you know what? I'm sick of people trying to back Jonathan Holder that it's not his fault. We shouldn't be blaming him because he has no right pitching. Again, stop just looking at the game and take a second. You have DVR or something, pause it, sit down on your couch, and just think about what you would do as a manager and what your options are. Because if you do that, you would then sit there and say, okay, you know what? Jonathan Holder has to step it up, pick up his team here, and get a second inning under his belt.
Holder's last 7 games, 7 innings pitched, 11 hits, 8 earned runs.
Yeah, he's been
miserable.
Pitching to a 10.29 ERA's last 7.
It's miserable. No good.
Yeah, so I heard Boone's press conference after the game, but I guess nobody asked him about why Holder and not Green. Maybe he knew he needed to keep him in his back pocket because he maybe had Britton on a short pitch count or something. Or
And
maybe they really don't want Chad Green to pitch in those.
We how many times did we talk about this? The Yankees go into every single game with a game plan. There has to be something planned out, mapped out, where they say, all right, if we can't get through with these guys and we truly need to go to Green and it's a guy that Green has decent numbers against, maybe, blah, 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 then we'll go to him. But if that situation passes, we are not touching Green because we need him to open games. Right. That's really what happens. Once they get through that inning, it's Holder's game.
Well, let's get back on the Hap train here because no one.
Let me just say one more thing. And at the end of the day, who gives a shit because the team won? So why are you looking to flip out on one guy or a manager or anything? Your team won, and that should be it.
Well,
it's like you just ate. Oh, guys, this is too many games. It's like someone withdrawing. It's too many games. I'm itching. I need to complain about something. Let's rip Holder.
Well, since Aaron Judge came back on Friday, how many tweets have I fielded people complaining about the lineup.
Yeah. And they've won every single day except today.
Here is what I'm going to say to everybody. Do I want to see the full complement, 1 through 9, of the Yankee lineup that we've been dreaming about?
See.
Yes. But Aaron Boone has been on record saying they're trying to play a long game here, meaning that they understand they have guys like Judge and Stanton and Hicks and Didi that are coming off injuries where they missed a lot of games. And they can't push these guys to a certain point this early in the season. And you want to even include Gary Sanchez in there where Boone said now he's got all these guys available to him. No more DH games for Gary. He needs full days of rest.
And right now, when you're sitting 5 games, in the loss in first place, you can afford that. Maybe if things get closer and they have a big series against the Rays, maybe that changes spur of the moment. But for the time being, yeah, I agree with it.
But look at this. The Yankees can afford to sit 2 guys every day and still put out a lineup that's probably more dangerous than any other lineup in baseball. And that's how deep they are.
And you know what, guys? At the end of the day, when this team gets into September and every other year you see them start to tire, you saw it last year through the summer. These guys get tired. It's a long. I used to play summer ball not too long ago. A few years ago. I played once a week. I was tired for 3 days. These guys.
Okay, now you're gonna come on. You're gonna compare yourself to John Carlos.
No, I'm absolutely not. Because what I'm saying is that once a week is compared to 3 straight months of them playing, but still, it adds up. It adds up, and you want these guys fresh. That's part of having depth. Part of having depth is that you can afford to rest guys even in big games.
Yeah, everybody said, why did we get Edwin Encarnacion? We don't need him. This is why. This is why he went out and he got Brian Cashman went out and he got him. So he has the depth available that Aaron Boone can rest guys that need a day and not have a Mike Talkman in the lineup.
Right. Where you still have top to bottom hitters, not automatic outs.
So that's a new rule around here. No complaining about the lineup.
Yeah, I am on board with that. Because every time I look at a lineup and I say, why this, why that, they win.
And I was guilty of it a week or so ago when they were in Chicago, but
and Didi was sitting,
and that was. But you know what? I'm going to rationalize this. That was a little bit different. The Yankees were not playing well. They didn't have Judge back. They didn't have Stanton back. Edwin Encarnacion wasn't back. And I didn't like a couple of guys being out of lineup. That was a game they needed to win. But now this team is healthy offensively.
Healthy.
Okay. You can afford this now.
And again, I'm not saying become complacent being 5 games up, but you use that to your advantage where you can be a little more comfortable and afford to give guys rest right now because everyone's hot.
The guy that always kills me that fans complain about sitting is Gary Sanchez. It's like no one's ever watched how a catcher's been handled in the history of Major League Baseball. Yadier Molina is like the only catcher that plays 140 games a year.
Yeah, and for like the last 50 years.
Because he's a freak.
It's unreal. I know we have other things to get to. I just want to say real quick, we don't even have to discuss it.
That you should leave a 5-star rating and review so Chris
absolutely.
Gets punched in the face.
Yeah, we got 9 out of 10. We had other people review over the last week too, but didn't give a punch on the pod.
One more. If we get one more punch on the pod before, is it fair to say before the first pitch of Tuesday's game?
Yes.
One more before the first pitch of Tuesday's game. Chris will get punched in the face.
And if you're watching on YouTube or if you have a YouTube, check us out there, NYYST. Our channel will pop right up. Please subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Leave us a reply. Anything. The one thing I want to get to, though, is not only is Gary Sanchez having a great year at the plate, how good has he been behind the plate?
I haven't even noticed.
He's been really good lately. He's had some.
It was pretty much
it's funny. Game. Everyone who wanted him gone seems to be pretty quiet.
Well, there's somebody that, and you know what? Let's put Jay Happ on the back burner for a second because it ties right into this.
Okay.
The guy that they hate now is Stan, John Carlos Stan.
Well, not yesterday.
Because and this is funny, right? I had somebody screaming on our Twitter, "Why isn't Stanton playing today?" But if he would have went 0 for 4 today, you would have booed him out of the building. And if I didn't love Aaron Boone before, I friggin' love him now. He went after the fans yesterday.
Good. What'd he say?
Somebody asked him about, because the Yankees don't win that game Saturday night without Giancarlo Stanton. He drove in 4 runs.
Absolutely.
In 2 key situations, he drove in those 4 runs. Okay.
Oh, he said sometimes we forget. That was that.
He said pretty much, I want everybody to take notice of what a good baseball player he is.
Man.
And then,
how about defensively
you want me
too?
to read the quote?
Yes, read the quote, please.
Aaron Boone said, "I hope everyone takes note of Giancarlo Stanton's at-bats tonight." Asked if that was a message for the fans and anyone else, Boone then smiled and said, "No, sometimes we forget what a good player he is. Again, I hope they saw those at-bats."
Yeah, that was
hashtag Yankees.
Hashtag, I'm not going to call anybody out, but I hear you idiots booing.
It's a long hashtag. It's trending, though.
Yeah, it's a good
hashtag. I hear you
but
idiots
it's the
booing.
Truth, man. Come on.
How does this tie into Hap?
It doesn't. It tied into what you're saying about Gary Sanchez. How they hated Gary and now they don't.
Yeah.
Because now the Jackals, their attention is diverted to Giancarlo Stanton.
Right.
Giancarlo's Jackals.
The Jackals on Giancarlo.
Carlos. Carlos.
Yeah, I mean, I give Boone a lot of credit for saying that yesterday.
Me too. He's doing a lot of things right this year.
And well, you see managers back their players to the media. Sometimes you got to back your players to your own fans, I guess.
Good.
You know?
And it was a little sickening being at the game on Friday after Judge either struck out or made an out late.
I still don't believe you. I think you were mishearing things.
No, I wasn't. No, he got called out on a 3rd strike. I did say in my tweet that I hope that fans were reacting to the call because where I was sitting, I couldn't really see where the
Judge doesn't get booed.
Huh?
Judge doesn't get booed.
Yes. I'm hoping that is the case.
But you never know.
But with the
it's
way
sad that you have to question it.
The way the fans act, it's in the back of your mind. Did he get booed?
Maybe.
After Stan struck out in the 1st inning, a guy sitting around a bunch of kids got up and screamed, "I hope he effing dies."
Sounds like something I would say, but not about a Yankee.
Was it Chris?
No, Chris.
Maybe
about
a form. Like I think I said it a couple times about Altuve this week. I can't stand looking at him. I think he's a cocky little prick. I really do.
Well, you don't have to look at him for a while now. So
good.
Hopefully they'll get knocked out before the Yankees have to face him. So you don't have to look at him again until 2020.
Nice.
But it's all about patience. These guys, Stanton missed 60 games. Judges missed 50 games. These guys are not going to come back and just start mashing home runs and.
What's the one thing when a guy comes back and he's struggling, but he is healthy? What's the one thing that Boone or anyone will say is the issue at the time? Can you think of what it seems to be?
Their timing?
Yeah. Timing is a huge factor. That's
what do you
why
mean by timing? Like swing timing?
Yeah,
or timing
just everything. Just the way your eye picks up on a curveball, a fastball. Timing is a huge deal, and that's not something you can sit in AAA for 3 months.
Justin Verlander's not in Scranton.
Right. So. That's something that doesn't translate right away into the major leagues all the time. So that's something that you got to just be patient with.
And he had the 2 hardest hit balls so far this season, and he's only played 5 games.
Yeah, and people are complaining about why is exit velocity important? Because if he doesn't rip those balls as hard as he did yesterday, those are routine outs.
Do you have any home runs yet?
No. And those were his first RBIs of the season last night.
The guy only played, 3 games?
3 games
before he came back? Yeah. He'll be fine.
I'm not worried about it.
He's still going to put up how many home runs you think?
He might hit 15 or 20 this year.
I think he's going to hit 20. And I think that'd be pretty unbelievable.
I think it would be too. Now, here's the kicker. Now, everybody was like, "Oh, we got to keep Cameron Maybin." And what happened to Cameron Maybin on Friday?
Are we skipping over Hap?
No, we'll get to him. I just don't feel like talking about it.
All right, because I just had something. So. Yeah, Cameron Maybin, man. It's honestly a shame.
Wait, what even happened to him? Did he get hurt rounding the bases?
I don't know. That happened Friday night. I was at the game. I didn't pick
after
up
the Sanchez home run.
Yeah.
I didn't see what was the initial cause of the injury.
I didn't know if maybe he got injured on something and he stayed on base.
I think I've read something that he might have Did he get? Was there a pickoff attempt during that at bat? And maybe
There
Could've
probably
been,
was.
honestly.
I think that's what I
didn't
had
notice.
read.
All I saw was him limping.
And if that's the case, that's a second injury.
And it maybe seemed like something that if he was going to be on the IL, it would have been 10 days or so. Now it sounds like it's
6 weeks.
something pretty serious. So is that the Yankees don't have anything to benefit from.
I love this guy's energy, his what he brings to this team. This is what he said after the injury. My focus is to come in and be the biggest cheerleader. So I don't really sulk. I'm not really like in my feelings too much. You just got to move forward.
And you know what? If Cameron Maybin can now, he's still allowed in the dugout and everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just on the IL.
Hey,
It's like Kendrick Morales.
What's one of the things we said was great about Cameron Maybin, even if he wasn't performing on the field, the energy he brought to the. So now you get the best of both worlds. You're probably gonna have to release him, and now you don't have to, and he's still there, and he's still hyping guys
I
up.
don't think the Yankees made a decision when Judge came back that they were keeping Maybin.
Yeah, but that was still gonna fade
It was still
away.
a possibility
Maybe.
that they could have cut ties, but he seemed like. I mean, how
That
hard
was
is that?
was because they had the option of sending Cortez down. He just pitched. You don't know what was going to happen. Come
No, I do know.
Or-
What if he
or
hit
you
a
know
two-
what?
What
You
if
know
he
what
goes
this
on a
did?
2-week slump?
this prolonged Luis Cessa as a New York Yankee. Maybe, you know,
This guy's got like 9 lives.
it's unreal.
Yeah.
But it's a shame if that's really the last game he's going to play in pinstripes on the field like that. With what he did, it sucks that it ended that way for him. It does. But he had a hell of a run.
Yeah, he hit 314.
How many straight games did he have a home run? 4?
4, maybe?
Cameron Maybin, 4 straight games with a home run.
You know, and now you got the conspiracy theorists out there that think the Yankees made the injury up.
No.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
What do they have to prove? What do they have to benefit
Yeah,
that?
what do they gain from that?
And what
Right.
would he gain?
Yeah, why would he agree to that?
He's hitting 314. You think he'd want to?
Hey, Cameron.
maybe
hype man.
maybe I can see it's a little more serious. Like it's not as serious as they're saying it is, but can they even get away with something like that?
Hey, Cameron, we know you're playing really well, and we could probably trade you to somebody where you could play regularly, but, you know, why don't you go sit on the IL for 2 months?
Yeah, right.
He's not going to agree to that.
Only Jacoby Ellsbury agrees to stuff like that.
Yeah, where's he been?
So keep him far, far
You
away.
want me to try finding out an Ellsbury update?
Far away.
You know, apparently, he put a picture on his Instagram maybe a week ago with him playing with his kids. That's a good look.
That's
for
a good. You know
it's
what?
A good look for
you
him.
look good there.
Yeah.
You look great.
You're a great dad, Jacoby.
He didn't have a Yankee jersey on, right?
No.
Perfect. Perfect.
Greg Bird.
Is he still alive?
I saw Edwin Encarnacion walking him the other day.
Oh, okay. Oh man.
So now you want to get into Hap here?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you guys because I looked something up before we started here because I knew we were going to talk about Hap. How many runs did he let up today total?
8.
8. So he's allowed, I believe, 49 runs on the year. How many of those runs do you think he has given up in the first 3 innings of each game he's pitched?
35.
No, it's not that high, but it's over 50%. And I thought about it, and I'm like, here's why we think J-Hap sucks so much. And it's not that he's good right now, but it seems so much worse because even in the games where he ends up pitching well, almost all of them,
He's given up
he's given up early home runs, early leads, and you feel deflated whenever he's on the mound in the beginning of a game.
Hey, Ryan.
Now, a lot of times he's honed it in,
Hey,
but
Ryan, are you awake over there?
you sleeping, bro?
Are you awake over there? Can you look up how many home runs and how many innings, how many home runs Hap's allowed and how many innings he's pitched this year?
He's allowed 20 home runs and 84 and a third innings pitched.
Is that updated?
Hope so.
What is it on Baseball Reference?
I'm on MLB.com.
No, then it's
baby.
updated.
How many home runs?
20 dingers,
Oof.
84. And
Can
a
you do me a
third.
favor? Because if there's one guy out there
20 dingers.
that you, in your mind,
84
would
thirds.
think maybe has given up close to the amount of home runs as he has, it would be who?
Tanaka.
Okay, can you do me a favor? Can you look up Tanaka's innings and home runs as well?
I don't think Tanaka's allowed that many home runs.
No, I don't think so either. That's what I'm saying. Because that's been Tanaka's bugaboo for how long?
Yeah, he pitched really well Saturday night. He still gave up a home run.
Right. 2-run homer?
Yeah.
Hold on.
He's using the touch screen.
I'm super cool.
I have a touch screen computer.
It's no big deal.
Yeah.
All right.
Nobody touches me, so I touch my computer. With all those comp videos
Comp
that I made.
videos.
I'm not even going to tell you guys. How did I find that so easily? All right, here it is.
How did you find the comp video so easily?
13 dingers, 98 innings pitched.
Look at that. So in our minds, right?
How many starts has he made this year, Tanaka?
16.
Our one thing about Tanaka is always that he gives up the home run. He's not even close to where J-Hap is. Not even close.
No, I mean...
Because he's pitched, 14 more innings and allowed 7 less home runs?
Yeah.
2017 was his most home runs allowed. He allowed 35 home runs.
Yeah, that was
in
a lot.
178 and a third innings.
That was also the worst year of his career.
But man, you're at 20 home runs halfway through the year. So you know.
So how many starts has Hap made this year?
He's made
about
16.
Yeah.
So he's going to allow maybe around 40 home runs this year.
Yeah, it's great.
That's awesome.
His pace, yeah.
But again,
what do you do with him? What are the Yankees supposed to do with him?
that's what I
You
said.
got to throw him every 5 days.
Yeah, especially right now, right?
Oh, absolutely. They don't have a better option.
Because you got CC Sabathia, who, he gives you two games where he's, average to below average, and then comes in against the Rays and pitches well. But he's a question mark every time out. Now you got Hap as a question mark every time out. Paxton, who has seemed to, even when he doesn't have his stuff right now, is finding ways to still be really good.
Right now, the Yankees need to know that every time Tanaka and Paxton take the ball, they're going to win the game.
Right,
They
and
need
that's a lot to ask because these guys were not supposed to be these guys.
No, you keep saying that, but James Paxton was brought in here to be
you're
that
right.
guy.
I forgot Paxton was one of the guys we were just discussing. But you don't even have a fifth starter right now. So you're not touching Hap. You can't. You can't afford it. Where we talked about depth in every other way possible, where the Yankees don't have depth right now is starting pitching.
All right, let's go back into November, December, whatever. Let's go in our time machine here. The Yankees set a price on Patrick Corbin.
Right.
Washington blows it out of the water. So they already made the trade for James Paxton. The Yankees needed to get 2 starters. Well, technically 3, but they already re-signed CeCe. So they got CeCe, Paxton. They need a third. They need to get that third starter. Yes, Ryan.
There's one guy that I'm with hindsight, I'm very disappointed they didn't sign.
Cole?
Charlie Morton. Who I did want at the time because I love
that's the
high velocity pitchers.
Yep, there you go.
And that would be my pick.
That's where we're going with this. The Yankees chose Hap. They basically made a decision that Hap would be the guy that they were going to target. Because what did Morton get? 2 for 30, something like that. And Hap got what, like 2 for 34, and he's got a vesting option if he meets certain numbers in the second year for a third season. Which
2 for 30 is Charlie Morton's.
Was this to and wait 2 for 30, and what was Hap?
Hap got 2 for 34, and he's got an
Hap got more than Morton.
Yes.
Oh my God! Wow.
And he has a 2021 option
if
or
he,
something.
Yeah, he's got to hit certain innings.
No, that's
pitched.
Zach Britton.
No,
had that. They have the same structure.
No, it's a little different option, but Hap has an option for 2021 if he hits certain numbers. Which, if you look at the numbers, if he hits those
165 innings or makes 27 starts in 2020, he will qualify for a $17 million option in 2020.
Yeah, and you can bet your ass if he goes into 2020 pitching with a 5-something ERA all this year, the Yankees are going to choke his innings, so he doesn't.
Right.
Yeah,
he doesn't hit that.
But
marker.
here's something that I have to say, and I know it's not going to be the popular opinion here. For me, if you want to speculate what the Yankees chose and what they gave up in choosing J-Hap, you need to give him a full season. Because if at the end of this regular season, if J-Hap doesn't turn it around after the All-Star break, you can say the Yankees made a mistake. They should have signed this guy. They should have signed that guy. But he's someone who is much better in the second half of the year, and I think could still be really, really good for this team after the All-Star break.
That's a little most of the reason why I'm not ready to throw this guy out of town is because we're not even at the point in the season where they acquired him last year. And if you look at his numbers, they're let's be honest, they're worse than they were last year. But
yes,
they still are not. The pitcher that he was in Toronto was not the pitcher that he was in New York.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm waiting to see what post All-Star break happens.
Yes.
If he's still throwing to a 5 ERA mid-August, that's a problem.
Then we can sit here and say the Yankees made a mistake. They haven't made many over the last couple years. Hap might have been one of them. But let's give him a full year. And I know that's tough to say on a year that we're expecting to win a World Series. We've been waiting for 2019 for how many years now? It's tough to sit here and say, well, give him the year. But you know what? You have to before you want to throw this guy out of town.
His ERA at this point last year was a 3.62. What's
yeah, but when he came over here, his ERA was over 4.
Yeah, he was at a 4.44.
So it's almost a run higher right now, but still, he wasn't really good in Toronto. He was meh.
Yeah.
And he's been like, bleh.
He really wasn't someone you thought would get.
I didn't want him because like a week before
I got to correct myself.
The Yankees rocked him.
Yeah, the Yankees, we were watching that at your in-laws' house.
That was his high water. Oh, no, it wasn't. But
and we went, well, guess they're not getting Hap anymore.
His ERA by the time he became a Yankee last year was 4.18.
Still.
So it's comparable.
And his ERA was gonna, if he would have pitched well, it would have been trending towards that number.
And today. We're not at that point yet. So maybe now, over the next few games, how many more starts is he going to get before the All-Star break? Maybe one or two. Maybe he has a couple good games and it lowers itself closer to that number.
And again, J-Hap is your fourth. The J-Hap that came over here as your fourth starter. Would you live with that?
Yes.
And I think that's what the Yankees' plan was.
That was the plan. We talk about this all the time.
To go Sevy, Tanaka, Paxton, Sevy, Paxton, Tanaka, whatever is your 1, 2, 3. But Severino's not here.
You asked me a few weeks ago, maybe a little bit more than that, am I concerned with J-Hap? And I said at the time he was still the fourth guy and someone else had just gotten hurt or something and we were going to be expecting a lot more out of him. And I said up until that point, I was patient with him, but they're going to be expecting more out of him now, and he's got to step it up, and he hasn't. Am I concerned with him? Yes. But like I said, I'm still going to, before I sit here and ridicule the Yankees for signing him, I'm going to give him the rest of the year. I am. You have to.
Okay.
Because what are the... Oh, hold on. The Yankees need to get a starting pitcher, right? You could even argue they need to get 2, but we're going to just, get rid of J-Hap? You can't. You can't. You don't have the luxury of doing so right now. So you got to sit here and you got to hope that he turns it around. And he's got the mindset to do it. If a guy can do it, I think it's Hap.
Let's hope it happens.
Let's hope it happens.
So the Yankees need to get a starting pitcher. I mean, something that we talk about endlessly on this show is who is it going to be? You hear that the Yankees do not want to trade Clint Frazier for a rental. The only guys that they would consider trading Frazier for, because they still have Frazier for 4 more years after this one.
I didn't realize they had that much control over him.
Okay, they would only consider putting him in a package if they can get a guy that has 2 years, not just this year and next year, 2 additional years, if I heard the report correctly, of control. They don't want to trade Frazier for a rental. And I can't, honestly, I don't blame them for that.
But is Madison Bumgarner really a rental?
If you don't get him on a contract
extension. But you're going to.
You don't know that.
It's what he's gonna ask for.
You don't know that.
I think that's why he has no trade clauses against everyone.
He also has a no trade clause because
he gets a bonus if he waives it.
Yes,
I understand that, but it's also because he's going to ask for an extension.
Maybe,
probably,
it's possible.
But let me ask you this, and I know we said this was so stupid last week, but the more and more I think about it, if you're sitting here telling me that they're not okay with giving up Frazier for a rental, how many years does Encarnacion have left to be a good player? At least offensive. He's a great defensive first baseman.
I don't really want to see him on his team next year, to be honest with you. He'll be 37 years old next year.
He's that old.
Yeah, I'm not really looking to pay him $20 million
because
next year.
I mean, is it crazy to sit here and say maybe Voit would be a huge complimentary piece for someone?
Because again, we talked about this.
I know would never want that, and I think it's stupid.
When does he hit the free agent market? Can you look that up? How many years of control that the Yankees have on Voit?
Have 2 or 3.
And they're not going to trade Frazier for a rental. Why are they trading Voit for a rental?
That's why I asked you, what does Encarnacion have left in the tank, and could that be where the Yankees see their future?
Luke Voit isn't a free agent until 2025.
Wow, forget it. Forget that.
Wow.
He
Arbitration eligible 2021.
But does that make him even more valuable?
It does make sense. It does make sense because did he even lose his rookie status last year?
He only has .169 service time. .1.
So he doesn't have a full
because
year.
as stupid as it sounds,
he didn't lose his rookie.
He didn't, because
so he could win Rookie of the Year this year.
Because as stupid as it sounds, he with as few games as he played in, if he was eligible for Rookie of the Year, he would have been talked about last year. That's how good he was when he turned it on.
So the Yankees don't want to trade 4 years of Frazier. They're going to trade 6 years of Voit.
No, that doesn't make sense.
But maybe, you know what?
But maybe it makes him more valuable.
Because of Voigt's age, maybe they would be more inclined to trade him because Frazier's still, 24 years old?
Yeah, he's young. He's young. But who are you trading for that needs Luke Voit and it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and again, it was something that we talked about last week is that Voigt's more valuable to the Yankees because of what he brings to the clubhouse and the way that he's performed there than maybe he would be somewhere else.
But here's the thing.
He's only making $573,000 too.
Here's the thing. Who are the guys available right now for the Yankees to get?
We don't know. We really don't know.
Well, who's one obvious one?
Bumgarner.
Right. Can the Yankees land Bumgarner without giving up Luke Voit?
Yes.
Absolutely. So it wouldn't make sense. There's not one guy out there that you'd say, you know what? The only way we're going to get him is if we throw in Luke Voit. There's just no one out there.
I don't even think that's something that's on Brian Cashman's radar.
No, I don't think so either. I didn't realize he was under control for that long. I
didn't either.
So this is something that I was talking about the other day on Twitter because now, there's been rumors out there that Brian Cashman or reports. I don't know if he said this directly or somebody reported that he said this, that he's quote willing to do anything to get an ace in here. And Hal Steinbrenner did say that if Brian Cashman wants a specific guy, and that is the guy that's going to put the Yankees over the top this year, he will go over the highest luxury tax threshold.
So let me ask you this. The headline I read, and I didn't click it, was Yankees will do anything to land Max Scherzer. So was that not the quote?
That's not the quote. That's a little bit. That's
he'll
a little
do
bit
anything
of
to land a true.
That's a
ace.
little bit of clickbait because
first
of all, the Yankees can't even mention Max Scherzer's name because it's tampering.
Did we ever find out if that deferred money would land on the Yankees' shoulders?
I haven't been able to definitively confirm that, but
because that's a big factor.
I believe that it does. From the people that I have talked to, I do believe they also believe that it does, but no one's able to definitively.
That's a huge factor.
Okay, but again, the GM of the Washington Nationals had said that he needs a franchise-altering package to even consider trading.
And do you blame him? How many games
Scherzer.
out are the Nationals? As shitty as they've been, hot and cold, how many games out are they?
They're probably
3?
close.
3 games out of a wild card spot?
Right now the Nationals. They're 8 games out of the division, which do you trust?
No,
depends on how much you trust Atlanta.
It's not even the All-Star break. That can change so quickly in that division. But let's just talk wild card.
They're only 3.5 back in the wild card.
How many in the loss?
They're 4 games out in the loss column.
All right, is that not surmountable? Are you gonna just get rid of Max Scherzer for
every week? He makes
even
up
the
his
Mets
own
are 4
word.
out only.
Is that a surmountable feat?
Insurmountable.
No, I'm asking.
Is that insurmountable?
I know it's not insurmountable.
Nobody used the word. First of all,
you know what?
Use it.
Look at it.
No.
Look at
First of all, last week was Father's Day, so we gave it to him.
No, wasn't it 2 weeks ago already?
The only 2 teams right now in the National League side that I'm not even out of it. But
Outside of the Dodgers.
The Giants are 7 games back in the wild card, and the Marlins are 10 games back.
Surmount is apparently a word, but no one ever uses
I don't.
it.
I'm unique.
Yeah, that's
So
what
I'm asking,
Is it surmounted or overcome?
surmountable?
Is it defeatable?
Right. So you owe me a written apology.
I don't owe you shit, okay? Because you didn't even you used that word knowing that it was most likely.
No, I actually thought that was a good use.
Thank you very much.
It sucks.
Sometimes
Thank
you got to
very
change it up.
much. I agree. You got to be unique.
Like there's the word incomplete, and then there's complete.
New York.
That's different.
No, it's not.
You hear people use the word complete all the time.
Inside, side.
Let's go side, guys. It's cold in here. It's cold out.
So
it's cold. It's cold side, but let's go side.
Do you blame the GM being that close? I could see if they were 10 games out of a wild card spot. Do you blame him for not saying we're going to need a franchise-altering player if we're going to get rid of him?
No.
Because why? Because especially if you owe him all this money, why not?
And apparently, it's important to them that they get Max Scherzer in there as a Hall of Famer wearing a Nationals cap.
Oh God!
Hey, you know what? You can sit there and moan about it, but these are things that they think about as part of the reason why they don't want to trade the guy.
That's ridiculous to me. But.
So any trade for Max Scherzer is going to start with 4 syllables: Gleyber Torres,
or Miguel Andujar.
No, Gleyber Torres.
So then tell him to go screw.
That's 4. You're right.
Tell him to go screw. I don't need Max Scherzer that bad.
Would you trade Gleyber for anybody?
No.
Anybody? No, never.
And
this kid is special.
This is something that I brought up on Twitter last night. Or it was Friday night, I believe, at the game when I was at the game, because people were like, "Oh, you got to trade Gleyber for Max Scherzer." No, you don't.
No.
There are guys called
People really are saying that.
Yes, it's not.
This guy's what, 34 years old?
Who?
How old is Scherzer?
Oh yeah, he's in his mid-30s now.
And you want to trade Gleyber Torres for him?
Yeah.
Come on.
I don't, but I'm
Scherzer,
saying.
yeah, 34.
Jesus,
he'll be 35.
people, come on.
This time next month.
Okay, there are things called foundation players. Now, when you use the term foundation player, what does it mean? Because we know not everybody understands certain things, because that's why we have to field constant tweets about certain things, because they don't understand things. Okay, it's not that I think you're stupid or
yeah, you do. He looks down on most people.
It's that I just
and don't take offense to it. He does it to me. He just did it.
Baseball on the field and off the field takes
part of his charm
of thinking. It's a lot of what
you
is
just
going to
if
happen.
you understand what the thought process is, I think it would cut down on a lot of issues that fans have, especially on
because
social
it's a long season, right? So nothing is surface level. You got to dive into.
You know what
things.
kind of kills it is that there's not a salary cap in baseball. So as a Yankee fans, that there's just no limit to what
how
they can
extreme
imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is a foundation player? A foundation player is somebody on your team that under no circumstances do you ever trade. These are guys that you are supposed to build your team around for the next decade.
Right.
Okay, and to me, the Yankees only have 3 of those players.
Okay.
Who are
Gleyber Torres.
Luis Severino.
No.
Gary Sanchez.
Yeah,
Gary Sanchez. And Aaron Judge. They only have 3 guys.
Okay. What if Luis Severino was healthy this year and having a Cy Young season so far?
Yeah, you could probably add him
Right.
to the mix.
Okay.
But as
That's
of
fair.
right now, as if we sit here on June 23rd, they only have 3 of those guys.
Yep. I agree.
So that means that for whatever reason, on field, off field, age, whatever, these are guys that you don't trade. This is why Brian Cashman was probably rolling in his underwear laughing at the tweets that
Is
he
that
was
a
reading.
saying? Rolling in your underwear?
I think that's an Adele song.
When he was waking up in the morning, and he probably
On his burner account.
You think he wears tighty whities or boxers?
Tighty whities. He's wound tight.
Yeah. As he's sitting there
what
reading,
Clappish told us, he seems like a very don't F with me kind of guy.
as he's sitting there reading tweets about fans wanting to trade Gary Sanchez, he's probably laughing about it because he knows that Gary Sanchez is one of his foundation guys.
Right. What does Brian Cashman's laugh sound like?
And what happens when you get rid of a foundation? You crumble, right?
Yeah, well,
Yeah. And that's the difference.
No, it's more like
That's the difference between we got to go all in 2019 and do anything, give up anyone to get that piece. That's the difference between a guy like I don't even know who to compare to a guy like Glaber. You're not giving up Torres for anybody, especially not a 34-year-old. Let me ask you this question.
Okay.
If you had a crystal ball
Mm-hmm.
and it showed you that if you trade Glaber Torres for Max Scherzer right now, that's the only way the Yankees win the World Series this year.
Yeah, but guess what? You don't have a crystal ball.
Oh my God, I hate you. What I'm asking is, would it be worth it for you for the World Series title?
That is so funny, man.
And that's a tough question to answer because, yes, we want to do anything to win a World Series this year. But
no, you know what? I'm going to say
we have the pieces to not just win this year, but to be a very scary team over the next 5-6 years.
I've been very consistent with saying this. Once you're at the doorstep of being a championship team, you don't trade guys off your major league roster, especially star players.
Yeah, I can wholeheartedly
That's why
agree with that.
you can tell me about Davy Garcia till you're blue in the face. That's why you can tell me about Estevan Florial until you're ready to fall off your chair.
Yep.
I don't care. These guys are in single A. These guys are in double
That's
A.
it.
Those guys are expendable to me.
Right now, prospects, is as important as they always will be. Right now, when you're looking at this team, this ready team, they mean nothing.
When you are rebuilding and you're trying to find that next group of guys, I don't like trading prospects because you have to find that next group of guys. But the Yankees have found that next group of guys. So now you're not trading these guys. And you know what? I made a joke about this on Twitter yesterday. The opening line of Brian Cashman's obituary is going to be traded Aroldis Chapman for Gleyber Torres and then got Aroldis Chapman back.
Yeah.
You don't think that that's something that means something? You don't think that means something to him that he got Gleyber Torres for a rental and then got that guy back?
And again,
You don't.
That's
so he's just
smooth.
going to turn around and trade Gleyber Torres,
Right.
And he's even said, he says, somebody asked him this a few months ago or whatever, and he goes, trade Gleyber Torres. He goes, you guys understand I have to work in this city.
And here's the thing. Let's differentiate between the Yankees trading Gleyber Torres for when the Cubs did it and won a World Series.
Guess what Gleyber was in 2016?
A prospect.
Yeah.
And again, you want to talking about prospects till you're blue in the face. He was a guy who was very highly regarded, but
number one or number
he was
two
still
in
a
all
prospect.
Major League Baseball?
Yes.
Yeah,
And not only
so
that, you had a franchise who hadn't won a World Series in how long?
over 100, probably over 100 years.
I think it was like
1903?
103 years maybe. And you had a team that was nothing like the New York Yankees are right now. They needed to make that move because they knew with a great closer, they had a very, very good chance of winning a World Series. And if they didn't jump on it then, maybe another 100 years.
No, because that core of that team is still pretty much together.
Yeah, but when you haven't been there for so long
I
and
understand
you're that close.
But they were in a similar situation the Yankees are in right now, where they put their core together and they were one piece away from being a world champion, and that piece for them was a closer. For the Yankees, it's an ace. It's a legitimate ace.
Yeah.
Has Craig Kimbrell pitched for them yet?
Has he?
He
I didn't
he
even-
debuted the other day.
No,
I believe. Last week?
yesterday it says when will
I know he was pitching
he's
in
in independent
Triple A or
league right
whatever.
now.
What did Keuchel make that start today?
He made a start. He
Or
made a
yesterday?
debut a couple days ago.
I'll look it up. No, well,
He pitched pretty
Kimbrell
well,
hasn't
actually.
pitched yet this year. I'll pull up Keuchel.
Keuchel has, I think, one game, and he did pretty well. He was limited innings-wise, I believe. But he did pretty well from what I heard.
Yeah, he started one game, 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 4
It's not
total.
bad for your first game back.
No, 8 hits though, but whatever. It's one game.
They won, right? I think they won.
Couldn't tell you. No, they lost. He got the loss.
Oh, boy.
L.
But you know what? That's not bad for him, but who gives a shit?
This
he's a
is
Brave.
a really good discussion, though. I think for fans that maybe don't understand that part of it, that it's not a video game where you're going to trade, anybody for anybody. And you make a great point about
Yeah, you do.
prospects.
That's the line.
Prospects are prospects. Major league talent is major league.
You want to
talent.
draw
There's
the
a
line
big
somewhere
difference.
of saying 2019 is all or bust. there still is a line, and that line is not getting rid of any of your foundation players. So what? You have 25 guys on this team. Only 3 of them, you said right now, are untouchable.
That's not to say like I don't trade any major league talent. Like somebody called up and said, "Hey, what can I get for what do you want to give me for Jonathan Holder?" And that's different. But
no, right. He's an expendable guy. Right now, you're not anyone who's not like a DJ LeMahieu. You're not touching.
No, obviously you're not. But he's not but at his age and
I'm not saying he's a foundation player. What I'm saying is he's not expendable.
And you can't get rid of DJ LeMahieu.
But Jonathan Holder sure is expendable.
And I don't even put Didi Gregorius in that category because of his age and his contract situation.
Did LeMahieu hit a 3-run home run?
Yes, he did. He counted.
When you look at Gleyber Torres' age and what he's done in his small, short career, the talent he's shown
you don't even realize he's not even really close to his physical prime yet.
You know what's great about Torres too is that he's had stretches where he hasn't been at his best, and he's found a way to bounce back from it, and that's a really good sign.
And he added something coming to the major leagues that people didn't think he had.
Nobody knew he had this pop in his back.
Yeah, like what was that stat? Remember last year? Did he come up last year? Right?
Yeah.
That he only had a certain amount of home runs in AAA, but then he like doubled that total his first 2 weeks.
He didn't really spend a lot of time in AAA either,
or like just minor league home runs in general.
He had the Tommy John
and there's
surgery.
a reason why. That's how talented this kid is.
22 years old.
You don't find talent like this every day.
It's just crazy though the way that the Yankees view Frazier versus the way they view Torres is that they really wanted Torres to maybe even impact the 2017 team. But they couldn't because he had Tommy John surgery. But listening to people that apparently know the ins and outs of the team, the Yankees didn't even really want Frazier in the major leagues this year because they wanted it to be a development year for him. Yeah. And he's 2 or 3 years older than Gleyber Torres is.
So just to show, sorry, Chris, that we didn't realize how much power Gleyber had. He played 373 minor league games in all the leagues. And he had 24 home runs in just 193 Major League Baseball games. He has 42 home runs.
How many did he hit last year? 24, 25?
24.
Really? He didn't hit the 25
mark? I want to do an episode where I quiz you on certain stats.
That's a good off-season show.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Quiz the Beast.
Okay, I've been number one for 30 years.
Bro.
Quiz the Beast.
You're the Beast.
I've been doing this for 30 years, okay?
Okay. I wanted to say one last thing just now. And now that's what I wanted to ask you. Because you're talking about guys who are here and foundation players, so on and so forth. You're still very reluctant to give up on Frazier. And talking with Stat Guy Rye over the last couple days, I have his back in a sense of I think the Yankees could have handled this better. However, right now the Yankees felt he was a huge liability in the outfield. And right now, the way this team is built, we don't have any room for a guy who is trying to develop in the outfield. And Ryan said it, he hit it right on the head. Why are you so reluctant?
He could be Ken Griffey Jr. out there defensively, and the Yankees would probably still send him down.
I'll ask you this. Name one guy who you're okay with giving Frazier up for right now. If anyone.
I don't know. Who's out there?
Max Scherzer.
Who is out there?
Max Scherzer, and you're eating half the money.
Maybe.
Yeah, I would give up Clint Frazier for Max.
Probably. Yeah, I don't like Max Scherzer because of that contract.
Now,
I don't want to. If I got to eat money, I don't want to give up high-end talent.
Now, what if Frazier came up here this year, had the explosive offensive season he was having, and also was phenomenal in the outfield and didn't get sent back down? Would you have that same outlook?
What? If he was, I told you, if he was Ken Griffey Jr. out there defensively, they still would have sent him down.
I understand, but I'm asking you personally, if that wasn't the case, if he showed that he was truly major league ready in every facet of his game, would you still be sitting here saying, yeah, you could take Frazier for Scherzer? Would he be a guy that you felt wasn't expendable because of the?
I still don't really feel he's expendable. You'd still have to get the right guy for him.
I think that if the Nationals were ever interested in Frazier, this is hypothetical, that the years he has left under control would allow you to put him in a package and get Scherzer and not have to eat a lot of that money because of the control. I think the Yankees are going to do everything they possibly can to trade him.
Again, I disagree that they're going to do everything they can to trade him because Brian Cashman
for the right guy
wants either the right guy or, again, as much as we want to win in 2019, Brian Cashman is looking to make this sustainable.
I understand, but what I'm trying to say is Clint Frazier.
And he's not going to ship out Clint Frazier for a guy.
But you're looking at a guy in Clint Frazier that is a great complementary piece because of his years under control and also has proven that he can hit the shit out of the ball.
I don't think the Yankees, in a complimentary piece in a trade?
Yes.
No, I don't think the Yankees are looking at him as being a guy they have to package another high-end prospect with.
I'm saying to save yourself some money for a guy like Scherzer, who has a lot of money owed to him. Saying that's an additional guy that if the Nationals listed off guys like Estrada and Florial and whatever, that they can say, hey, why don't we give you Frazier? He's got 4 years of control, and you eat more of the money.
Yeah,
that could definitely happen.
Okay, well, how come I didn't hear Gleyber Torres' name and all these guys' name that you mentioned?
But what I'm saying is Clint Frazier, because of the years of control and because of how good of a hitter he is,
and he's not Gleyber Torres though.
No, but
it's not going to really. I mean, you're not going to really do much there.
Who plays first base in Washington?
George Washington.
George Washington, the first.
Abraham
first
Lincoln.
president, first.
Yeah,
baseman.
Abraham Lincoln is their starter.
Nice.
I could see them maybe looking into Voit.
Teddy Roosevelt
As a
is
compliment.
Teddy
As a
Roosevelt's a
shortstop,
closer.
Okay. All right.
Ryan needs to go to bed.
Yeah, dude, I'm slouching. I just want to.
Again, I don't know. I don't even know why we're talking about Luke Voit as being potentially.
No,
traded.
no.
I just don't. I just
No,
something
I
I
agree.
just don't see
It's
happening.
It's
I
never
just think 'cause of
anything
the
I
control,
saw.
Maybe a team.
It's never anything I saw. I was just
might
bringing it
look
up
into him.
because you're starting to see Encarnacion play a little bit of first base here, and he's a very good defensive first baseman. I didn't realize Voit had that control. I was just bringing it up to entertain the people who are saying that he might be traded, and I was trying to see if there was any way you can make sense of it, but clearly there's just not.
Matt Adams played first base for them today. I don't know if he's their everyday first baseman. He's got 142 at bats this year. He's got 10 home runs and OPS of 808, so it's not terrible.
Just so you know, not that you care, we were running a little long here, but I gotta say, did you see the Pujols moment?
yeah.
How
I wanted
awesome
to
was
bring
that,
that
man?
up.
And did you see the home run he hit the next day?
Mm-hmm.
Friggin' phenomenal.
I mean, there's so many moments in baseball that it's just
People-
you see
honestly,
it. It's like out of a movie.
People ask me. Someone asked me the other day. I don't know how do you sit through a whole game of baseball? I said I don't sit through a whole game of baseball. I sit through 162 games of baseball every single year, and it's because of things you can't even explain to people. The connections you make with these players.
And if anybody
watching,
wants to ask who has the best fans in baseball, St. Louis Cardinals have the best fans in baseball. Because they're out
Fair.
there actively rooting. And I absolutely know what Albert Pujols meant to them in bringing championships there and everything. He's an iconic player, Hall of Famer, the whole nine. But they're rooting for a guy that doesn't even play for their team. Meanwhile, the Yankee fans are booing and
that's true.
and rooting against guys that are wearing pinstripes.
That's true. And you want to know something? 10, 15 years ago, the Yankee fans that showed up to the ballpark had that connection. And now you just don't feel it. I say it all the time. Derek Jeter Day, when we went, I know it was all rushed because of the weather and ESPN had the game, so on and so forth. But I was expecting a moment where they couldn't shut the crowd up. And it was literally an ovation for what felt like 5 seconds before people were sitting back down.
You know what? I went to Jorge Posada Day, and it was done much better because that game was on. Yes, they had the whole afternoon to do it. I just think a lot of it had to do with, like you said, the doubleheader, the
ESPN,
weather,
right,
ESPN. So
Anything ESPN production value wise,
I'm shocked the Yankees didn't fight that
Butchered.
more. I bet you if they owned as much of the S Network as they do again now, they would have never allowed that to be on ESPN. There's no
I
way.
just think that we don't have to get into this. That Jeter, in fact, I do know that just for a fact that Jeter wanted it to be on Mother's Day.
Yes, he said that.
And when they originally scheduled it, there wasn't a doubleheader, so they would have had all that extra time leading into the game to do it.
And if Cashman had the relationship we thought he had with Derek Jeter, maybe he would have fought Major League Baseball in that doubleheader.
You can't fight Major
Why?
League Baseball in a doubleheader.
Yeah, you absolutely can.
Oh
You're the New York Yankees. You're the New York Yankees. You absolutely can.
Okay, because we're gonna have Derek Jeter Day. We're gonna screw up everybody's travel.
Yes.
Now, okay. You know what? I'm
Chris,
done.
you just struck out.
Yeah.
That's whenever one of you has a bad argument, I'm just gonna go. Shh, 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 shh.
I like it.
All right, so we'll wrap up on that note. Chris striking out.
Maybe I'll get knocked out.
One more, please, before
Say
first
knock
pitch
you
on
out.
before first pitch of Tuesday's game.
You don't offend me.
We need one more punch on the pod.
Most people
review.
would have sat back and been like, "Oh my god, they're so quick to just give
I
punch
gotta
on the
admit
pod reviews."
something,
Everyone
though.
hates me, but you know what? I embrace it. I think it's great.
So we're gonna look ahead here now.
I think this makes me look the worst, though. Like I'm gonna punch my brother in the face.
No, it makes
Well,
you
that's
look,
the whole
No,
goal.
you're a hero.
Like people are gonna see this and be like,
That's the whole goal. Wow,
Did that kid just knock
he
his
just
brother out?
punched his brother.
No,
Wow.
you're a hero for this.
Scumbag.
Wow, he's got a nice left hook.
All right, so the Yanks.
He needs a haircut, but
Yanks are gonna wrap
His hair's
up
a
their
little
homestand
shaggy.
here. Okay, you guys are done. I'm cutting
Done.
you off here.
you sound like you're from London. Can you read the post? Can you read this in a London in an
No,
English
the
accent?
Yankees are gonna
Are we
finish
doing
up
the
their
London episode
Shut
with British accent?
up.
Yes, we have to.
All right.
Hello, mate.
Hello.
That's Australian.
Yeah, there you go. You don't even know what you're doing. The Yankees are going to wrap up their homestand here, face the Blue Jays for 3. CeCe's going to take the ball Monday night against Aaron Sanchez. Then we move on to Tuesday, TBD, which is probably going to be an opener game, I'm going to assume, right?
Yeah.
Against Clayton Richard, who pitched really well against the Yankees in Toronto, even though his ERA is north of 7. So Yankees are going to have to do something about that. And then we wrap up the series 105 on Wednesday. Thornton's going to oppose Big Maple, James Paxton, before the Yankees take 2 days off before they head to London. And
You sound like you're from London.
I'm sure that's going to be a shit show over there.
Oh, yeah. Let's do a little prediction on the series.
The Yankees, since the Yankees are off Thursday and Friday, we'll record Thursday night to kind of lead into,
Fridays.
bridge the gap.
We actually have a lot of fans in Europe.
We'll bridge the gap between the Toronto series and the London series, which starts on Saturday. We'll repeat this again when we record midweek, but for anybody wondering, Saturday 1:10 Eastern Fox game. And then Sunday, you'll have your Waffles with the Yankees, 10:10 ESPN game.
And I got to say one thing. Do it for Patrick. Go over there, spank the Red Sox for
Yeah.
Patrick, baby.
Come on,
Let's
Patrick.
do it.
I agree with that.
So we said we'd be okay.
All right, fellas.
We wanted them to win the
Hey,
series.
fellas.
They won the series. It ended in disappointing fashion today because Hap got lit up, but took 3 or 4 from the Astros.
said
And what
they
I don't
would.
want to
I said
hear,
they would.
and what I don't want to
they
hear
did.
from the media
Two-shot series.
or Astros fans is that, Springer didn't play.
Yeah, really.
Correa didn't
Shut
play.
up.
Dude, seriously.
You look like a bunch of lost puppies out there this week.
You know what? Give credit to the Astros because even though the Yankees took 3 out of 4, those were hard-fought victories.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you something. That game last night was one of the best games you'll see all year.
Yeah, I
The
like
Yankees
that one.
fought. The Yankees worked hard to get these wins. Okay,
Yeah.
but I don't
But
want
that's
to
how it
hear.
should be.
I don't want to hear any nonsense about the Astros being injured because, really,
Come on.
seriously,
No. Hey, listen. Did the Yankees
Did you see the
make any
trash line?
excuses?
Did you see the trash lineup that the Astros swept when the Yankees were in
Right.
Houston? Okay, so I don't want to hear.
When
it.
you're a team like the Houston Astros, just like if you're a team like the New York Yankees, it doesn't matter your injuries.
and I know Correa and Springer didn't play, but come on, you're gonna tell me that was a bad lineup they put out there this weekend?
No, it's a phenomenal lineup.
All right, so what do you predict? I never like predicting sweeps, but 2 out of 3. Let's go. Let's have an 8-2 homestand here.
I'm gonna take 2 out of 3 from the Jays. I actually think they lose the middle game. That's gonna be
Would
my
you say
prediction.
is pitching game 3 for the Jays?
Thornton.
Sweep.
Yankees looking to continue the opener streak too. They're 6-0 now, I believe.
Yeah, you're going to break the opener streak.
I think they're going to break the opener streak. I do. I really do.
Wow, so whoever wins that first game in London will be the first Major League Baseball team to win a game on another continent.
That's not true.
No, because Lindor.
Where's
right?
Japan?
Oh yeah, they forgot they played in Japan. Sometimes
in Europe.
That's a real Chris.
In Europe, you can say. No Major League Baseball games have been played.
I didn't
in Europe,
even think of Japan.
right?
I thought more of where did Lindor?
Was that Puerto Rico?
Oh no, that was Puerto Rico. Jesus Christ.
You need bed.
Yeah, dude, I'm just
all right. Let's wrap up here. Please, after we sign off, please stay tuned to listen to a word from our sponsors, Baseballism. Follow them on Twitter at Baseballism. Use the code Chase28 for free shipping off your order at baseballism.com. Follow us on Twitter at NYY Sports Talk. I'm just gonna skip that guy Rye because he's got to go to bed.
Oh, we actually had to say something to you.
Okay.
We were listening back to last episode. It sounds so nice when you just finish your final thought and then just go right into Stack Guy Rye. Boom. Sounds great.
Okay, Stack Guy Rye.
Go Yanks.
Chris, say goodbye.
Within a game, a bond is made. He teaches his boy a game he played. 2 gloves, 1 ball, a day at the park, and the 2 play catch until it gets dark. And his boy does better than he thought he would, so the 2 played catch as long as they could. The boy and his friends, they play in the streets, tennis shoes and cans, no bases, no cleats. They hit home runs and they turn double plays. 1 great catch, and he's Willie Mays. But the sun starts to set in the old neighborhood, and they played in the streets as long as they could. The boy goes to school and plays for his team. He develops his craft and follows his dream. He has moments of glory, he has moments of shame, but they shape his life and they make his name. But he begins to get old, and it's understood. The boy played the game as long as he could. The boy, now a man, he has a son of his own, and he teaches his son a game he was shown. His son's first game, he sits in the stands. He yells out instruction, but it's not in his hands. And being late for the meeting was not in the plans, but a cheer for his son as long as he can. This is America's brand. This is baseballism. Do you believe in baseball?